Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's go live on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Good morning. This is the VeeFriends Making Comics Show. Live. Good morning, everybody. If you're watching on a replay over on YouTube, make sure you say you were here. Say good morning or hey, watching a replay. Cheers, everybody. I'm DJ, the comic creator here at VeeFriends. Taking a look at yesterday's comic from the newspaper. This one was finished up, turned in a little while ago. Comic Corner. You can also send your letters over to comics@veefriends.com. Send fan mail, send whatever. If you're brand new, please, look at that, it's like focusing on things, that's weird. Please send your letters over to us. What's up, Axe? Let me get my chats up here. Great, Instagram's live, TikTok's live. This is the VeeFriends Comics Making Comics live show. So that's what I'm doing here live. What's VeeFriends? VeeFriends is over 250 characters created by Gary Vaynerchuk. You might know him on the internet as Gary V. Hence the name V in VeeFriends. We've got cartoons for kids on YouTube Kids. We've got our collectible trading card game. We've got the VeeFriends minis. This is always a time for me to set my timers. VeeFriends minis. I'm going to just open up this one here. They're little pencil toppers. And we've got the VeeFriends comic books coming out very, very, very soon. And also, news in the last couple of weeks is that we're in newspapers on Sundays. So people are out there buying up stacks of newspapers for the Sunday comic. And I'm streaming every day this week on VeeFriends Comics on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as X. We're over on the VeeFriends X as well. So good morning, everybody. All right, let's pop open this this mini for the morning. This is the first pencil topper of the day. Let's see what we got. Hey, if you're listening right now and you want to pick a VeeFriend for me to warm up sketch, I know I can't wait for comic books too. I'm very impatient, but a little bit longer. I'm excited. All right, let's see what's in here. Again, give me a character to do a warm-up sketch with if you'd like. Maybe it's a character I've never drawn before for VeeFriends, if you're familiar with VeeFriends. And I'll do a warm-up sketch for a couple minutes. The bull. All right, bull. Anybody else? So I'm just going to go over here. Bullish bull. All right, let's go to VeeFriends.com. Go to VeeFriends.com. Moose, bull. Helpful hippo. Okay, we're getting some in here now. Helpful hippo, moose, bull. Let's just take a picture of all of them. Bull was first. Let's see. Bullish bull. I'm gonna grab him. This is what I do. I just take a little screenshot. I also like to see how Gary drew him. There's a version 1 of how Gary drew him. I'm just gonna take a real quick screenshot of that. Very similar. The little horns on the top. I like to mix Gary's version with the version 2s. I've never drawn the bullish bull before, so that's a good one. Moose and helpful hippo. I think I've drawn the hippo once. Hippo. We got 10 minutes or 12 minutes or so. Well, that's a pretty easy one to do. Let's just zoom in on him. Helpful hippo. Yeah, all the characters have different traits. It's like basically, you know, a grown-up. Look at this. Gary's version of the helpful hippo. I like it. Looks like he's been helping himself with some food there. Helpful hippo. Okay. Got creative crab. I got that one too. Carry, all right. Let's just jam through as many as we can. I also like to see the Comfort Collection version. It's very similar. Let's click that. Still a little bit of a cough, so bear with me with that. Sorry. Oh, this changed. This view changed. Oh. Okay. Usually I can just grab that like that. Helpful Hippo. Gather some reference here. Hit us with that gracious grasshopper. Oh, now we got a whole bunch. All right, we're good. I'm writing all these down though because I do need. But first, I'm going to do a warm up of Bullish Bull. Let's just open up a new graphic here. This will be the warm up sketch. Thanks for stopping by today and saying hello. Make sure you're following us on all of the VeeFriends comics on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. This is the warm-up sketch for the next 10 minutes or so. Warm-up sketch. There you go. Thanks for watching. All right, who are we doing first here? Let's see. Bullish Bull. Just gonna go ahead and grab him, pull him in here. Pull him in. Pull the Helpful Hippo in. Just gonna pull a bunch of these in. Put them off to the side. Try to do as much as we can. Wait, what else? I had another one, right? Moose. I feel like I've done the moose before. But let me just grab them. Moose. Can't draw them all, so sorry. What program do you draw in, DJ? I draw in Procreate. Okay, 1 second here. Go back to the VeeFriends.com site. Go to all characters. Go to Moose. Also shows people how to navigate our site a little bit. Got the modest Moose. Maybe I'll draw them doing something together. Moose, Hippo, and Bull. Try that out for a nice little warm-up sketch. Just pull them in there just in case I go to colors. I don't want to see iCloud status. Get out of here. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, got a lot going on behind the scenes. Excited. This is how I start every sketch. I'm gonna just do a little very tiny composition sketch, or like to kind of capture the pose. I get real loose with my hand. This is why it's a warm up. Bullish Bull. I wanted to be kind of like, I wanted to be in an action pose actually, because I'm tired of drawing the standing there looking at you pose. It's kind of a cop out. So we'll do the horns up there, shape those in. Maybe make them in an action pose of some kind. Can't really see it'll make sense in a second. This is good for like warming up. It's got the tail. Put the tail out there. Usually with the pose with one hand down, that means the other foot is kind of. So then I'll take that. I like that pose. I'll grab that pose like that. Just blow that up a little bit. I like the little. It's just a pose. Then I'll fade this out. Maybe we'll move it a little bit to the side so I could draw the hippo next to him, possibly. Maybe let's move it down a little bit. All right. And then also, I'm going to be jumping into working on a brand new comic, Sunday comic. So we're getting in there in a moment. So we'll just work on this bull first, just to get a nice warm up. And I'll kind of show you what I'm doing. Oh, great. And I got the, and it says she got the program. Thanks for the advice. Rob Flock says, how was my weekend? My weekend was wonderful. I pretty much took Saturday off. I was going to work on some other stuff for VeeFriends over the weekend, but I decided to go hang out with my wife, and we went different places, some of all of our favorite places. No special occasion, just because, really. You know what? I'm going to switch to purple. There's no real reason for me switching to purple. It's just, it looks different. Some people ask that, why do you draw in red? Or why do you draw in blue? Why do you draw in purple? And it's like, there's one good reason, and it's just that I come from an old school comics background. So we used to draw in blue lead underneath the inks, because when you would take it to get it photocopied or shot on camera, the blue lines didn't show up, the sketch lines. And red was similar. Red would show up, but just nice for a nice undersketch. So I'll usually use this second layer to see if his mouth opens. It doesn't. I'm going to make it open here. His eyes. He's one of the VeeFriends that their eyes are connected. Very close together. It's fun. But yeah, I usually do a layer of roughs, pencils, and then inks and colors. My favorite comic was Spider-Man. I used to buy the comic in a couple pieces of bazooka gum from the local dime store. We used to have all kinds of small little shops where you could buy comics and toys and stuff. Now you got like Dollar Generals, pretty much. Alright, we're gonna get the top of his head. It's very like that kind of. He's got kind of a square, rectangular head going on there. His ears come down. Like so. Like that. Okay. And then like that. Let's do it again. It's creating a tangent. That's when the lines intersect. You don't want that. You don't want lines like connecting to each other. So you gotta do it again. Almost looks like a giant mustache on his head, to be honest with you. You see that? Like if we put a nose there, and then a couple eyes, it would be the Admiral, kind of. What the what? Of course, so it's. See, that's the. I'm just gonna keep going with it. There you go. What? Yeah, it's fun to see people all buying the. I'm glad that you bought the program. And, you know, my advice would be just to draw every day. Draw something small. You know, don't. If you're, you know, no program is going to do it for you. You know, so don't be too hard on yourself. If you're like, man, my art's not good or whatever, just draw every day. And away you go. He's got these. Oh, I like his body shape here. It's nice. Fix that a little bit. It's just a warm up. Actually, I want this to go in front, maybe. This leg goes forward, this leg goes back. Tail's back there somewhere. We draw through, we like pretend like we're drawing through behind that hand, but I'll like not put my pencil down. And then I'll hit that, and then we got the basically the bull's tails back there. Oh, hey Carson. Oh, sorry, I forgot to email you back. I'll get with you. I'll get you I'll set up like a time where we can you can like formally interview me this week, maybe. But how did I get started in the first place? How did I start drawing? I think when I was drawing when I was a kid. We'll just start there. I would trace in the newspapers. I would trace Garfield and stuff like that. And I just learned to draw Garfield. Really, I drew Garfield over and over and over again. And then I didn't even realize it was a job, you know, or something like that. It wasn't until I was 8 years old that I found G.I. Joe number 21, and I realized, wait, somebody does this for a living, and I want to do that. So I was about 8 years old, and I didn't know what that meant. So I didn't know what that meant to actually do it as a job. So of course, parents around me didn't really know either. So they were adults. They were just like, "You're gonna go work for Walt Disney," because that was like the biggest thing at the time. So there's our bullish bull. Like, some action lines there. That's a funny mashup there. And then so from there, I just drew a lot in school. You know, I wasn't the best student, I'd say, but my teacher said I had cartoon tunnel vision. My art teacher told me that, told my parents that. You know. Let's do, well, my warm-up is done. My warm-up time is done here. I'll keep talking. New comic strip is live. All right, we'll get to that. Just getting back into doodling. And then, you know, when I was very young, I'm 49 now, but when I was probably 16, all through my teenage years, I was putting in submissions to Marvel Comics and, you know, stuff like that. And I would go back and forth between comic strips in the newspaper and comic books, and I was really more heavily into comic strips. So I would put together 30 stripped examples and send them off to syndicates. This is back how they used to do it. And then I'd get projections and start the process all over again. Oh my gosh, I had that thing up the whole time. Jeez. Nobody told me. Oh. Sorry, I left the graphic up. All right, let's reset this real quick. Let me pick my. Hello, it's me. I'm gonna spin around here. I'm just gonna grab one of these out. 1 sec. There we go. I'm gonna open up that one. Let's open this up. little game I play is, does it beat the bubblegum balanced beetle? Probably not. Maybe, if it's detailed. It's going to be hard to beat the balanced beetle. It's just my own preference of character choices. Let's see. We got a genuine giraffe. Lava glows in the dark, but does not beat the balanced beetle. All right. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about that for you since you're watching in Carson. But yeah, that was my jam for a long time. Was trying to get in the newspapers, and I made little mini comics for my friends in school, and second here, kind of laying this strip out. Okay. So I'll get into talking about how I'm working on this strip here, what this is about. But yeah, I did a lot of when I was in school, and it wasn't until about 1998 that I started getting my first paying jobs from writers. So I'd go on internet forums and find writers that were needing artists for their submissions to Marvel and DC and Image Comics, and I would charge a page rate. $30 a page or something like that. It was cheap. It was super cheap. And away we went. I can talk a little bit about VeeFriends in a little bit here, but I think there we go. That's what I wanted to do. Am I familiar with IDW? I am. I used to know the old editor-in-chief, Chris Ryell. He was the editor-in-chief of Kevin Smith's website called Movie Poop Shoot, and I had cartoons on there too. I had some comics, weekly comics on moviepoopshoot.com. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Let's zap this. I'm just doing some layout work for the next of comics. I think we're going to work on this header up here. And then I'm going to turn off this little. So what I did was, you'll see, I'm laying out an idea for a comic strip for a Sunday comic, just like this was this week's Sunday comic that came out. So you see it's a much bigger, it's a half page of a newspaper. We could take a look and see how that was actually drawn up. To video time-lapse replay. So I started in the center and I did my composition, figuring out my sketches. Just rough, like interesting. I knew what the script was going to be, like kind of like these characters need to talk to each other in these types of panels. And I've got this little grid here. I don't have to stick to it. I just kind of like flow it in. And that's the rough stage. What's nice about Procreate, if you don't know, the people that are buying Procreate, is it records every single line that you draw. So you can just hit replay and we can see how the whole thing progressed. So that's me doing pencils, and then me doing inks, and then me doing the inks here. And then into coloring, there's a whole process. I think that one took me probably, let's see, I'm gonna say that this one took me, it says 13 hours here. That's about right. It probably took about 12 hours, because I think when I have it on like that, it's still calculating that the time is on the screen. Sometimes I'll accidentally leave the screen open. This one's coming up next week, Flex and Fox. This one says 19 hours, but I don't believe it. So here I am on this. How do we inquire about getting a bubblegum machine? Of course, it was in the chat. I think it's just vending vending dot VeeFriends.com. They're not bubblegum, by the way. They're these pencil toppers. But there is a map on the site. We send, people go find where you're. VeeFriends.com. I believe that's correct. Let's check it out just to make sure I'm getting you the right information. Vending.VeeFriends.com. People are hunting for the gold Gary Vee right now. Yeah, but you can apply for the machines. Lots of people put them into, bowling alleys and stuff like that, and restaurants, anywhere there's. I'd love to see them more in comic book stores. That'd be great. All right, let's take a look at the new comic while we're over here. If you wouldn't mind going real quick, if you're somewhere else, if you could go to Instagram, VeeFriends Comics on Instagram. VeeFriends Comics. Follow us, by the way. If you're not following us, we're going to be doing a lot more on the videos and stuff over here soon. So, new comic here by Ali Castro on the team. We're trying to keep things kind of relevant. $8 now. That's more than I had planned for. So eggs are now 20% off to 20% on. I like that. So she's trying to get eggs. They're $8. Not too far from the reality. Come on, it's under $10. You can do it. $8 is hardly worth the drama. Yeah, $8 covers my coffee. Psst. He says, same. Pff. Glad piffed. Pff. Glad someone gets me. And she says, $8 is my bus fare to visit my grandchildren. I suppose I'll have to see them next month. Oh no, I'm sure they'll be disappointed. I mean, maybe they'll understand. Oh dear, you don't have to do that. So now he's paying for her stuff. I thought about it. I have coffee at home. Wow, he beat me to it. So, Empathy Elephant here. I think it's Empathy Elephant weeks on the... you're going to be seeing a lot of Empathy Elephant in the next couple weeks as we focus in on some characters. Empathy Elephants, they're just out there in the world to show you to be kind to other people's situations. Some people are on a fixed budget and their groceries are kind of high right now. So, it's reality. Let's see. Yeah, my vending machine, of course, I got it from the company. It doesn't have quarters. It doesn't take the quarters. This app that I'm working on is Procreate. Yeah, Procreate. I'm watching the chats over on Instagram, TikTok, just so you can see how I'm working here. In case Carson's watching, too. My chats are open. I have a big widescreen here, so I've got my live video going on Instagram. This is the TikTok chat. That's my OBS program that controls by the push of a button here. I got the little buttons down here. So if I click a button, it turns to me. There I am. There's a couple other views too that are there that I don't use. And then way over there are YouTube, Facebook, X, all the comments over there. We have 323 people watching or have watched. I don't know. Unclear. I believe mostly on X. People keep it on and watch. A lot of our communities on X. So this is kind of how I think about this. Looks a little cluttered. Looks a lot of lines, but I'm going to turn off that little box in the middle, and I might not even need this box anymore. I can fade that out a little bit more for now. Because what I want to do here is I want to have the cat on the logo sleeping, looking awake because there's people yelling, going, "Oh my God, it's a black cat." And I was going to do self-aware hair here, but Gary's like, let's switch it to perspective pigeon. So I want to change that up. So let's just start working on this header for this stream. I think is good. It's the opening of the strip. This one's going to be all about how black cats are not bad luck, right? So we'll get into that. Oh yeah, it's a lot of time for a comic, especially a full color comic. Usually, time it takes usually is about. Let's go back to that look. For me, these are not my comics, but let's see here. Well, something that's like a 4-panel comic, like Chris has here, would probably take me 4 to 5 hours total if I'm just zoning in on it. And then for the Sunday comics, it's usually double, so it's usually 10 hours to 12 hours. If it goes higher than that, it's just me noodling. We call it noodling because you're just like redrawing a panel over and over again. You're just not happy with it. Sometimes you just gotta ship it. But in this sense, the concept here, and it's not fully like it's the plot I have is that these humans come across this black cat. They're freaking out. The VeeFriends kind of reframe their minds, so I'm going to need a couple little. I don't even need that. That could be the top of their. That could be the top of their border. So I'm just going to draw some shapes in here for panels, because I will need some additional panels, but I don't know the length. I don't know if it's going to be a short panel or a long panel. So I'm just going to keep that blank. Just want to keep it nice and wide and open. There's different approaches for comic strips in the newspaper or web comics compared to comic books. Comic books are longer narratives. Comic strips are one and done, kind of dailies. And then you have the Sundays, which are a little bit longer. I want to do a thing here too called Curious Corner. Right here, where we're going to have this is going to be cut right here. It's going to be Curious Crane giving a fact about. I'm just going to write that in Curious Corner. And then there's also people who are doing different formats of comics online a lot. There's like Webtoon, which is like a scroll down format. But really, you know, the fundamentals of comics are the same. You know, you have to tell a story in pictures. I always tell people to start with 4 panels instead of trying to draw the next, the next great graphic novel or something like that. If you can tell a story in 4 panels, then you can kind of branch that out a little bit. That's how we do it. I'll show you. Maybe let me block this real quick. Make sure I'm not showing anything super duper important here. I always show this little graph that I have. Put it over here. I call it the story machine. So you got your story ideas, just nuggets, little ideas that you might have. It might be something like Badass Bulldog is a race car driver. Underdog story, new driver. Dogs are being banned from all races, so it's his last race. That's a Corso idea. We've got a couple other nuggets. Oh, VeeFriends help a man escape a mental hospital. We've got a genie. you take those story nuggets, can you actually make a key visual, like a thumbnail, if you think of it as like a thumbnail? What's your key visual and what's your quick pitch for the story? Like if I told you the VeeFriends help a man escape from a mental hospital. Can I tell that story in 4 panels? That's step 1. How would you tell me that story in 4 panels? Doesn't have to be the full story, but just enough that I want more, right? But if you can tell the whole story in 4 panels, awesome. Then, can you tell that same story in 2 pages? In 2 comic book pages? You know, however many panels will fit on those pages. And then from there, can you tell that same story in 8 pages? If you can accomplish that, it can unfold into like 24 page, 32 page. And then from there, you know, you can get into all the other stuff that a story needs to be, or can be. I mean, animated shows, video games, graphic novels, toys, collectibles. None of this will be good unless your story foundation is strong. So that's why the best movie posters and the best, you know, things like that have a great foundation. The foundation is the idea built up into story mode. That's how I approach, that's how our team approaches, the comics team approaches. You might say that VeeFriends, you know, we kind of started with toys and collectibles. We kind of went backwards a little bit. You know, we started with the collectibles and the NFTs. And now we're building the foundation back up with the stories of the characters. So that's the story machine. That's what I call it. I kind of just built that out myself. I kind of use it as a framework. And then hopefully that's gives you a little bit of an idea of how we think behind the scenes. I'm just drawing the black cat from my memory right now. What I want to do is have one eye really open because she's been disrupted her sleep by these humans over here. I'm trying to miss any. I used to use Procreate, but I switched to Clip Studio as I found out you can make manga-like pages easier. How did I come across VeeFriends? Well, I've always followed Gary since back when he was just the wine guy. He was on Conan O'Brien. So I traced my roots back to Conan O'Brien when he was on there. I used to watch Conan O'Brien every night. And so I followed Gary. I was in marketing and stuff for a day job. So I was surprised to see when Gary had the cool Crush It book come out. And so yeah, long story short, I followed Gary for a long time. And there was a couple times where Gary said, stop following me. Like, go do your stuff. And I was like, yeah, you know what? He's right. I used to watch Daily V all the time. And it would just be motivational, you know, like pump you up. And then from there, I kind of stopped watching him. Personally, I just took his tips and stuff, applied it to my jobs and things. Not comics related, really. And from there, a couple years went by, I'd say, from that point. I read his books. He had a couple new books come out, Ask Gary V, and there was another one that came out too. I always buy the books. I always buy all the marketing books from a lot of different marketers and agencies and stuff. And then I saw, you know, him when he launched VeeFriends. I was like, oh, okay. But I really wasn't into NFTs. I wasn't against them. As a matter of fact, I'm always exploring new things. I'm always curious grain. I actually went and minted my own NFT, and it was very expensive. I was like, I want to learn how to do this. I'm like, wow, this was expensive to do at the time. I was like, this is crazy. Why would, like, I don't know, artists are kind of poor. Why would we spend a couple $100 to get this process going at the time? I was like, nah, it's not for me. But with VeeFriends, it was interesting, and I just was like, that's cool. And I like the soft skills thing. So I kind of feel like I came back to Gary, and he had this whole new vibe as far as like soft skills and stuff like that. And I was like, oh wow, it's kind of along my path because I was studying Stoicism, and I was like, oh wow, he's basically talking about the principles of Stoicism, really. And I was like, this is cool. Like the mix of Gary and Stoicism, super neat to me. So I started, watching some more content again, but just passively. And then my wife worked for a dude named Benny. You guys might know him in the community, Big Fish Benny. She was his, I don't know what, executive assistant for a minute. And he was going to VCon, had an extra ticket, VCon number 2. And she's like, hey, do you want to go with me? And we'll just go to Indianapolis. And so I went to VCon and didn't have any expectations. But I loved the community vibe. I was like, wow, this is really cool. It reminded me of Vid Summit, another show I go to with my YouTube friends. And I really liked the vibe of the VeeFriends community. Everybody was just so positive and supportive of each other, and I was all about that positivity. And I had a few different actually, when I was in Indianapolis, I was sitting at a lot of bars because I wasn't invited to a lot of the cool stuff because I was just along for the ride. But I would sit and draw in some of the bars, and people were like, what convention's in town? Because everybody's super cool. Like, everybody's super, like, the energy's different. And I could feel it too, and I was like, this is neat. But basically, that wasn't me thinking I want to work for VeeFriends or anything like that. I had no idea. I thought I was like, oh, it looks like they got a really cool brand here, and this is cool. And I left that convention feeling inspired to go, like, I was already doing my own thing. I was like, just had even more juice in my tank, more fuel in my tank to go build my YouTube channel and make more comics. And I kept telling myself that no one wanted comics anymore, that nobody wanted what I had to offer. Everybody was just like, movies, animation, comics. I'm a dinosaur, is what I thought, And but my friends were like, that's ridiculous. Don't, just keep doing your thing. And that's the vibe that I got from the VeeFriends too. So that was May, and then cut to October. I'd come back from Vid Summit, my favorite YouTube summit, and I saw a tweet from Gary that says he's hiring a full-time comic strip artist, must have 5 years of experience, because he wanted somebody serious. And I didn't wait. I just said, I can do this. I knew it. I was like, I know Gary's vibe. I know the VeeFriends community vibe. I'm all about that. And I just fired up the live stream, and I started doing my comic. I asked around a little bit, like, what are the popular VeeFriends? And everybody was just kind of like, it's just whatever it was just kind of whatever you felt, different people feel different VeeFriends. I get it now. But at the time, I fired it up. I worked on this comic strip. I keep it handy just so I could show it. I was working on a live stream on my YouTube channel. I was sick. I had a cold. My wife popped on with me, and I just started drawing this comic strip, which is the comic tryouts. And it was just the VeeFriends lining up to vie for themselves being in the comic strip. And I didn't really know much about the characters too much because there wasn't really much to learn out there. The stories weren't really out there about the characters, just, who they were and their traits. So the second night that I was working on that, the Prez, Andy Kranak, came into the chat and said, hey man, and now I know behind the scenes now, the story was someone texted, Jeremy in the community texted Andy and said, hey, you gotta check this dude out. And so he came in just at the right moment to that stream, just at the right time, and I was talking about all kinds of things. Like I was talking about how would I use AI at all as an artist? How would I, you know, how would I do a comic strip schedule? How would I, this is how I would do it right now. I would be live streaming it and talking to you about it. Um, and so and he said, hey, you want to have a talk? And that's how it goes. So if anything, my advice and I have a video out there on my YouTube channel called The Future of Comics, which I basically was just following my own advice, which was get out there. If you're new and no one knows who you are, you can get attention by being live. All these tools that we have, I didn't have these when I was 14. You know, I'm Gen X, so you know, we had to mail things in to companies and get rejection letters. Like, there are no gatekeepers anymore, really. I mean, there are, but there aren't. So really just being online and being present and building your own community around your work is totally doable for anybody if you show up and put the work in. And so, and as far as art goes, no, you're not going to be perfect. Like, whatever you're doing, you have to, you know, keep applying your. You know what? I'm going to make this into. I'm going to make this into Bare Minimum Bob. I'm going to switch it. Bare Minimum Bob's one of the little side characters. I started to see him there, so I'm going to make him into him. But yeah, if you feel yourself out there doing whatever you're doing, even if it's a podcast or any type of content, in my case, I can only speak to comics, would be that if I feel like I can't draw hands, or if I feel like I don't draw horses well or something like that, I'm gonna do the best I can to practice that, you know, maybe even live as I'm figuring it out. We have a character called Bare Minimum Bob. It's pretty popular. I just made him up. I made him up one day because we just needed random humans in the strip, and this is what came out, was Bare Minimum Bob, and like everyone really loved it. So, you know, because Gary will say things like, you know, Rick and Sally, and he'll make up names like that, and I'm like, oh, this is Bare Minimum Bob, you know. It's a black cat. You know, he's like a bad haircut. He's everything bare minimum. Like, he barely does his hair. He just does it just enough to get through. Doesn't tie his tie right. Doesn't brush his teeth. His teeth are yellow. Just does the bare minimum. So, just go in and push the buttons, Braid. Yeah. I'm trying my first VF stream in a couple days here on Whatnot. I'll tell you what, Whatnot's really interesting, you know. If I were, it's complicated for me now because this is my full-time job, and I know there are a lot of VeeFriends collectors out there that would love to pay me to draw stuff, but it's not. There's an ethics problem to that, and you know, I know everybody has the best intentions, but I have to be careful. But if I weren't, I would be doing a drawing stream on Whatnot where I would charge, you know, per sketch or something like that, and I would just be on there all the time. I'd be drawing prints, you know. I want to have his hands. Sometimes I'll draw the hands off to the side like that first. They're not connected to the body yet because I want to get that, you know, that like kind of hand going. And that's the thing, if you don't know how to draw hands, you gotta practice, and then you can cartoon the heck out of hands, you know. Now I gotta see, like, did I ever draw him with 4 fingers? Because sometimes the characters have 3 fingers. I know, it's weird. The whole 3 fingers versus Let's just go bare minimum. VeeFriends. I know it's been a while since I've looked at him. Does he have his own tag? That's hilarious. Alright, he's got the 3 fingers. Alright. It's one of those things in comics and cartoons. 3 fingers versus 4 fingers. There's a whole reason to that too. It's funny. Little fact. Animators back in the day. Hands are hard to draw. So they started removing the fingers. They started removing the fingers. One time it was an accident, I heard it was an accident. One of the in-between people erased the finger, and so they were like, oh, just keep it. There you go. I love my son's teachers would allow him to have comics at his reading time. He's 19 now, and David, a comic reader, avid comic reader. Great. Do VeeFriends fight any bad guys? I would say interesting thing about bad guys versus good guys is, you know, we always think, and Gary and I always think too, like kind of the Marvel way. Like, you know, there's Magneto. He was a bad guy, right? But he's also got, maybe he has good intentions in his own mind. But all the best bad guys are very complicated people. We have to have empathy for them. So yes and no. I'd say we have bad intentions character. You'll see a lot more in the upcoming comic books for sure. Like for instance, I'm just going to show this real quick. Well, I got a book. I got a comic book I can show you. Look at this. It's an actual preview of the comic book that's coming out. You'll be able to read it soon online, but I'm not going to give away the spoilers, but Cynical Cat ends up getting this device, this helmet that looks like Magneto's helmet. The reason it looks like Magneto's helmet is because that was the cover I was given to go. It was an homage to X-Men #1, like a tribute to X-Men #1, and drawn by J. Scott Campbell after Jack Kirby, and so he's kind of the, I guess, kind of the villain of issue 1, kind of. But those are some of the best characters, is understanding the bad guy instead of just beating them down. And understanding the bully is one of our lessons at VeeFriends too. Like, can you understand the bully and how they got that way, right? I think that's, I don't even know what I was saying, to be honest. I was just ranting there, but I'm peeking up at your comments. Yeah, Carson's on the chat. He's down there at SCAD. That's a really good college for, they got a good sequential art program, I believe. I've known some people, I can't remember their names, but I definitely have known some artists that went to SCAD, and the Joe Kubert School in New Jersey. There's a lot of colleges out there with, you know, that push sequential art, sequential storytelling. If you don't know what that means, sequential means in sequence, right? You're telling stories in sequence. That was that term was coined by Will Eisner. Will Eisner used to do newspaper strips. We give a little crash course of comic history. Will Eisner, the Spirit. 1940s. Every Sunday, every weekend in the newspaper, there was a new Spirit adventure, and it was about 8 pages per comic. Usually there's 9-panel grids, but that was his jam, was newspaper comics. And then from there, Will Eisner saw look at that, like he would do these cool intros to his, he was like one of the first artists to do that. Really take the whole and make the panels into art, the titles of the graphics and stuff like that. Will Eisner. there, grabbing things off my shelf, he made Comics and Sequential Arts book, which was basically talking all about the form of comics and how powerful it could be. The flow of the pages and the real craft behind it. That's essentially like a 4-panel comic strip right there. But yeah, this is a good one for every. If you're drawing comics and you don't have that book, well then you got to get it. You got to understand it. These are good things to have around. But Will Eisner really coined the phrase sequential art in graphic novels. If it wasn't for Will Eisner, nobody ever would have said the word graphic novel, because he hated the word. He didn't hate it, but he didn't like the word comics, because comics seemed like haha. He's like, the sequential art could be about anything, education wise, and so he really tried to elevate the art form, and then by doing so, all those American artists ended up all the American comics ended up going all around the world, and then inspired manga in Japan, manhwa in Korea, South Korea. So he'll be saying something over here like, not worried about the text yet. Gary and I will revisit that. But it's going to be something like, oh my God, it's a black cat, go the other way. And then this human here will be a little bit different. She'll be screaming. I want her to be like leaning this way. Right? Let's take a look at your chat real quick. Yeah, little comic history for you there. He's Paranoid Bob's like mortified of this black cat. Yeah, Gretchen, I would say, like, don't worry about, someone said about don't have much social following. Just got to get out there every day, you know. Craig, coffee's good. Good morning. Let's take a breather. If you're new to VeeFriends, by the way, I'm DJ, the director of comics, cartoonist, storyteller here at VeeFriends. Oh yeah, comics inspired manga. Manga just means comics, really, in Japan, but American comics were the first, comics. Do I have that up the whole time again? Gosh darn it. Why is that doing that? Alright, there we go. Oh yes. Comics. You look back at American comic strips were out. Comic books, comic strips, adventure strips, all the way back to like 1919. The Yellow Kid was called The Yellow Kid, was like one of the first comic strips in the world. And then, and that got around. And especially American comics when they were about true crime and, stuff that wasn't, superheroes didn't come around until like the 1960s, really. There was Superman was earlier than that, but really the superhero genre didn't happen until the 1960s. The boom of Marvel really amplified it. It wasn't in charge of the comic industry at the time. I'd say romance comics and crime comics were the horror comics as well, were the jam there. Okay, we're not doing the rabbit. We're gonna do the pigeon, so he's a little smaller. Maybe I could have him sitting over here. We'll have him sitting here. I'm gonna draw this lady. She's gonna be like leaning this way. I'm using the shapes between two. I don't want the lines to touch, so that'll be like her torso. I kind of do want her hands in the air. VeeFriends up. Yeah, so what you're watching here, if you're new to VeeFriends, and if you're brand new to VeeFriends, please email me at comics@veefriends.com. But you can also send your fan mail or just your thoughts, or let us know what's going on. We discuss what's going on in the community and talk to each other internally. So drop us a line. I'm making comics live. I'm DJ. You saw my face a little bit ago. VeeFriends is over 250 characters created by Gary Vaynerchuk. They all have great soft skills, some hard skills too, like hard work and wombat, accountable ant, alpha alligator, forthright flamingo. We've got the VeeFriends cartoons. They're for kids over on YouTube Kids, 10 and under. It's also good for adults. The animation's fun. And trading card game, highly collectible trading card game. Just go ahead and search VeeFriends on eBay. Take a look at that. It's crazy. It's crazy. And we've got the VeeFriends minis here. These are the mini toppers. Let's go ahead and open one. Let's do purple versus... No, I don't think that's gonna... I know which ones you guys will pick. Everyone always picks purple. Let's, while I'm talking here, put green or yellow in the chat. Green or yellow. Green, yellow in the chat, and I'll open that one up. Count those up. So VeeFriends minis, and they're a little rare, or there's some rare ones in there. I'm always looking for the detailed ones. VeeFriends comics. I'm in charge of the comics team here at VeeFriends and the character development. So we got the comic books coming soon. What you see me drawing right now is the Sunday comics. That's what I'm going to be mostly working on these morning streams, because that's my major project internally, is the Sunday comics. So we've got a lot of the community out there buying up the Arizona Daily Star. I'm sure they saw a spike in sales from, like, who's buying 30 newspapers? But so thanks to the community out there gathering up those comics. And Brian, this is one of my favorite photos, his son enjoying comics for the first time. And that was much like me when I would see comics in the newspaper, and I would put paper down over them and trace them over. Green, 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 green. Green, green, green. Ain't no yellow. There's no yellow. All right. Sorry, yellow. Let's open up this green. So, yeah, this reminds me of me when I was a kid. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. My imagination was definitely, now that I'm an adult, I would say my imagination was my armor from a lot of things in the world when I was growing up. And I feel very fortunate. All right, we got a nifty narwhal bubblegum. It's all a bubblegum day. I'm keeping the balanced beetle on there because he's one of my faves. Yeah, Clip Studio versus Procreate. I think it's just a personal preference. I like Procreate because, well, number one, there's not an extra subscription every month. And let's just open this one. I got a good feeling about this one. I'm gonna open it. There are no rules. That's what my Uncle Bob said. Uncle Bob Ross. All right, what do we got? We got a lava diamond hands hen. I don't like it. Put that away. No details today, not yet. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I'm drawing. I'm drawing the Sunday comic today. Well, one of the future Sunday comics, and this one will feature the Black Cat. So that's what we're working on. But yeah, the difference between, we're talking comics here in the chat. Got Carson in the chat with some questions. I'm going on to Lee's website. They are going through maintenance for newspaper subscriptions online, and the only other link they have is a phone that doesn't seem to work. What? I don't know if you're on the right. Let's check it out. Maybe they are. Maybe their site's down for just a little bit. If we go to lee.net. Here we go, lee.net/markets. I mean, there's always a chance that it might be down, but every time I go, it's up. Let's refresh. Can I refresh it? There we go. Yeah, see? lee.net/markets. You're going to see the brand, they're called brands, but that's the markets really. And you can see the list of states and the papers that we're in across the company, or across the country, not the company. Well, you know, here nor there, we might be a company. Arizona Daily Star. You saw that stack of papers earlier. You go to Arizona Daily Star, $1 for 3 months. Subscribe now. I'm gonna hit the subscribe now button. $1 for 3 months. That gets you the digital version. So even if you're not part of their, you could still subscribe to the digital version if you want to get that. But see offers $20 a month for 7-day subscription for print, or $10 a month gets you Wednesday. Oh, look at me selling newspapers here. What am I doing? Anyways, that site works. Lee.net/markets. So Lee.net. Be careful the websites you go to, maybe. But yeah, it's the Buffalo News, the Lincoln Journal, Star, St. Louis Dispatch, Richmond Times. It's over 1 million new subscriber or people see VeeFriends now in the Sunday Comics. So that's really cool. And if you're here from the newspapers, well, welcome. My personal preference for the difference. Will this recording be available after? It will. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Procreate versus Clip Art, Clip Studio. I don't like the subscription, and I didn't like the brushes in Clip Studio. I mean, I probably could have gotten used to them, but I really liked my brushes that I was able to port over from Photoshop into Clip Studio early on. I'm sure they've changed things, but I really don't have time to learn anything new. So I just stick to what I know. So it's a perfect personal preference, I guess. But I know a lot of people that use Clip Studio for their page layouts and stuff. You can do multiple things with it, but it just doesn't seem to give me the freedom that I want. You know, there's a lot of templates and things in there, but I like to just do a lot of that myself, because I'm kind of old school. She's throwing her hands in the air. Like, go the other way. Let's see. Checking comments real quick. I might have missed something, sorry. Oh, Inna said, I hear that, recognizes the bad guy within ourselves. That's right, ancient philosophy there. It's, two minds exist within. Everybody has two minds that exist within. So sometimes you hear it. Sometimes you can hear the conversation back and forth. Should you do this thing? Should you not do that thing? It's like the internal consciousness, the internal struggle. You know, be a good person. Don't be a jerk. But I don't like this arm here, but we just really need her to be like kind of horrified, so I'm just gonna there we go. If you go on X, Gretchen, there's some people that are trading comics and offering to do that. So I saw some on eBay too, but it might be a little expensive. I wouldn't say. I don't know. You do what you want. I'm just gonna draw these random. So this is the penciling stage. This is just the kickstart of a new comic. So sometimes we can just draw the hair in like that. One mistake I used to always make was drawing out the ear constantly, but really, if you go look at people and do a lot of people watching, you'll see that you don't see the ear a lot. The hairstyle is usually up over that, so you can actually do some nice fun cartooning there. Cartooning is fun. Cartooning is just a little looser because you're not using reference. A little bit of difference between, some people are like, what's the difference between cartooning and illustrating? Cartooning is I'm not using a lot of I'm building from nothing, doing storytelling really from nothing, pulling it from nothing, and the anatomy can be a little bit, you know, different. I'll give her a little bracelet or something. It'd be funny if she was like clutching her pearls. I don't know if that's a she's so scared. Ah! Give her a belt. I'll watch the tangents here. Tangents are when lines. See, that's kind of too much of a tangent for me. I don't like that. What I'm going to do is take cat's tail. No, not going to do that. Different ways to solve that. But for now, I'm just going to make her arm a little thicker. There we go. Yeah, Jaya creates over on. I mean, there's a few. I don't want to, you know. AKNMS. Nice drawing. Where do you learn? Where you learn? Well, I learned through books and things like that. But these days, if you wanted to learn, YouTube is a treasure trove of different stuff, right? So, all right, perspective pigeon. I'm gonna throw up this reference board for perspective pigeon. Find them in here real quick. You can see, I'm going to show you what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at a little, I have a massive board of art looking for the perspective pigeon. I think I drew him in a car scene. If not, I know where he's at. It was early on, wasn't it? Zoom. There he is. Cynical cat driving. And there's a little optimistic otter there, and then there's Gary driving with a black cat in his car. Fun. This was from, the date's not on there. It would have been the 20-something of January 2024. So yeah, I'll just keep that open up there while I'm drawing down here. A little bit. So if anything, I'm only referencing art that I've already drawn. It's kind of the thing. Big stream today. Oh, yeah, Impact's doing a big stream today, yeah. Right? Or no? Who's doing the streams today? I don't know. I would love to say that I could check in, but I'm going to be very busy. Hey, this is Gary. It's Gary. Are you saying that you're Gary? Prove that you're Gary to me. It's Gary, and someone said it's Gary. It's not Gary. I'm not Gary. I'm DJ, the director of comics here, working with Gary and the team here at VeeFriends. And I draw this thing. But if you are Gary, you have to prove that you're Gary to me. There's only a couple things that Gary could say to me that no one else would know. Let's play that game. Okay. But a lot of good questions today. Thanks for Carson for hanging out. I got to get with him. He's doing his, he's going to college down there at SCAD. And he's doing a little paper on, like a little report or something for school. And I'm always happy to try to help as much as possible. If there's any artists out there that are, I know there's artists out there watching because they message me, but my biggest advice to anybody trying to make this a living or, trying to just do anything creative would be do it yourself. The tools are out there, so just don't wait and start doing it. Podcasts, comics. For comics specifically, you're going to want to start making your own comics. Start posting them. You got to get through. Someone told me 10,000 pages or something once, or I don't know. And I was like, what? That's crazy. But I believe it, because I have a lot of bad pages out there. I have a lot of bad artwork out there. Even when I was confident that I was good, I wasn't good. I wasn't ready. You just kind of know when you're ready. This is perspective pigeon. Because the idea here is we want to change the perspective of... No, my dog is snoring hard over there. Let's see. You can't hear her, but she's snoring. Let's go. She was growling. She's getting something. I don't know. Whatever. It's my office mate. Oh, VeeFriends is streaming tonight. We're always streaming. I know Gary did a pop-up, Depends on, depends on where Gary is in the world. He might just be like, guess what, guys, let's go. That's how it goes. But yeah, there are no cookie cutter ways of doing this. If you're out there, I think you have to be kind of semi-obsessed with the topic that you're wanting to do, whether it's podcasting or anything really. I've known artists that are like, I do exactly what you do and I don't get the same results. And I'm like, you don't do exactly what I do though. Trust me. I'm pretty all in on comics behind the scenes too. I study it. I study the crafts of it. I go back in time and look at, what worked before and why. This is going to be Perspective Pigeon, but I'm going to work on him a little bit more. I'm not too happy with his body shape there. This will no longer be the self-aware hair. Oh. 517 watching right now, or at least have watched. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Got a couple more minutes here in the stream. Then I got to go off to some other meetings. Got a lot of stuff coming. I know I say that a lot, but she's going to be saying something right here. He's saying something right there. Black Cat's waking up like, what in the world? And it might be fun to however don't know how I would do this, but let's just see. That's the roughs. So if the cat is the flow, like so if I do the cat there and then I have the cat waking up, you know how cats wake up and they kind of we always want when we can, I want the tail to curve like that. See what I'm doing? You know, cats stretch when they wake up. If you have a cat. Do you know why they thought the cats were evil? Can anyone tell me that in the chat real quick without Googling it? Why they thought, how that came about? And did you know that black cats in Egypt were considered good luck? So it's all about your perspective, really. Black. Kind of just stretching out. I don't even like the face here would be more down. Let's just redo this face. No idea? Well, in the Middle Ages, the medieval ages, black cats at night, their eyes would glow like yellow and green. And there was also a lot of superstition about witches, so like curses and things and magic. And the cats would freak out the priests and things, and because in the woods, you know, or at night, if you've ever seen a cat's eyes glowing, it's like, oh my gosh, it's a demon, or it's the witch herself. Like, so that's kind of where that came from. They were just fear. They were afraid of it. Fear made people, the power of fear made people afraid of the cat. But over there in Egypt, they were worshipped as very special and, you know, good luck, symbols of good luck, you know. So there you have it. I'm the DJ of fun. I don't know about that. I don't know how much fun I actually am outside of comics. Because 9 times out of 10, if I'm not at the drawing board and I'm sitting quietly, I'm thinking about comics. I'm thinking about the next thing, you know. I'm thinking maybe he's stretching there. Maybe we just go like, and he's off to play. I'm just having fun right now, but the tail, the reason that it curves like that is it's an N and a J. It's like an N and a J for New Jersey. Did you know that? Well, now you know. Got a little playful cat here. Cat, it's like Silent Bob almost. Like, it's like, I don't like, the cat doesn't talk. Will purr, make noises, use a lot of the body language, but we won't have her like talking, you know. It's like a silent actor. Carson, I'll get back with you. I'll schedule some time for us to chat one-on-one. I can take you through a little bit of different stuff. It's hard to do just a formal interview on this chat. I'll get back with you today. We're working on multiple comic books and comic book stories. Yeah, there you go. You really just found out about the tail being a J for New Jersey. That's why, you know, we're always trying to at least get that J in there, but there's also an N, you know, NJ. Got to educate. Now you know, and now you can tell other people. That's the beauty of it. Oh, I'm missing the TikTok chat. Did anybody say no? Okay. Not a whole lot of action on TikTok today. Oh well. We're almost set. Actually, this is a good start for a comic strip. Now, you know, by the time we're done with this, it'll look like Sunday's comic. So, again, if you're new to this stream and you're watching, or even if you're just hanging out, you can email me at comics@VeeFriends.com. Let me know what you're thinking of the comics. If you have feedback for us, good, bad, indifferent, please email us at comics@VeeFriends.com. I don't want to hear any, you know, my we're not customer service, but we'll still help you. Look through yesterday's comic real quick. This was a little girl writing it. What's the secret to happiness? Searching for smiles. The VeeFriends newspaper team gets this and says, hey, Curious Crane, get out there and figure out what the secret to happiness is. And Creative Crab says, hey, I know here's an address on Sunsea Beach. Thanks for the tip, Creative Crab. And he's fine. Happy Hermit Crab, what's your secret to happiness? Happy Hermit Crab's out there on the beach, cleaning up the beach. Because Mr. Beast didn't get to this beach, apparently. Come on, Jimmy. Oh, that's easy. Let me show you the secret to happiness. Sometimes we stay in a shell that we've outgrown. A job, a habit, a relationship doesn't fit anymore. We hold on to it because it feels safe in there. I always open up 5 per stream, usually. I try to. What do we got? Oh, another genuine giraffe. Emerald. Does not beat. Balanced beetle. For me. Anyways. Happiness is about leaving what doesn't fit. Worse, sometimes we squeeze into the wrong thing entirely just because it's there. This is what hermit crabs do, by the way. They put themselves into water bottles. Here we have boisterous beavers dam fine water. Somebody littered. So you don't force yourself into the wrong situation, even if it seems easier. Got it. Yep, true happiness begins when you know when to leave what doesn't fit so you can grow into what does. I gotta write this down. He's got a mini on his pencil there. Happiness is a choice. So then we see Cynical Cat here stuck in a box. Yeah, but what if I like my shell, even if it's a little tight? Then enjoy it until you don't. You'll know when it's time to move on, Cynical Cat. Hey, I got a fly. Thank you, Happy Hermit Crab. Happy Hermit Crab. Let's get this one to print. And then the headline reads, New Shell, New You. A Crab's Guide to True Happiness. Stop being crabby. And take out the trash in your life. I don't know about you guys, but that makes me feel happier even reading that. That's my cue to get out of here. Guys, I think I'm stuck. Little help here? Read more comics, watch us live. Follow us on YouTube, please. Subscribe over on YouTube. You can see VeeFriends Comics over on YouTube. We'll take a real quick look at that. By the way, still people don't know, but we have animated comic strips coming out. You can see the little live button here. You can see the upcoming lives. I'm going to schedule my new lives. Joanne was asking where the replay will be. It'll be here on the YouTube channel for you. And we have tons and tons and tons of shorts coming out that are animated. Let's just take a look at this one. Oh, well, I guess we're looking at this one. I can't do the sound. It won't play when I'm attached, but can see they take my comic strips and then they animate them, which is pretty cool. It's pretty neat. We call them comic dubs, I guess, is what they call them. This is really cool the way that loops. But go ahead and give it a like when you go over there. Like the buttons, subscribe. And I'll see you back here on Wednesday, 8 a.m. Does that sound good? We'll see you. We'll see you then. VeeFriends are forever. Make sure you're getting the newspaper out there if you can find one. And we'll be working on this strip back on Wednesday. We'll see you soon. I'll look for questions real quick before I say go. Gary has so many Easter eggs in the characters. He does. A lot of Easter eggs in the characters. Any other questions? Let me scan through. This is Procreate. I'm working in, yeah. Great. All right, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. VeeFriends are forever.